Hey, welcome in, folks. This is Babbaginator. We're back in Long Dark. We are getting ready to leave soon-ish. See, we are on day 29, almost day 30. We leave on 31. Got a little bit of food left here. It's a day. Let's see what the new dawn and the new day brings. Cabin fever risk is what we got. We're starting a little late tonight. I've been busy today, but getting caught up here. We spent part of the day working on my interactive fiction game, but I decided not to stream it since I was mostly dealing with some really under the hood type stuff that didn't really feel as exciting to watch. Wanted to handle a few things a little bit more elegantly. Honestly, I'm at the stage of the project where I look at everything and I think, oh, I kind of wish I could start over and do this differently, but that would just drag things out even longer. So I am not doing that. I am going to stick through to the end till it's done. Take the lessons learned, apply them to the next project. Don't worry about trying to fix this project in a brand new way. Do not do the Babbage thing, which is, yeah, okay. What are we going to do? Maybe we'll make some water over here. What do we have? So we have some leather. Is there anything we can repair leather-wise? So we can repair these. Oh, we're already past our, yeah. Guess we chose a good time to hang out in the cave. So I did do, like I said, I did do some work on the game. I was handling a situation where I was like noting that I wanted to figure out how to better represent or better handle the situation if you have something in your inventory already that kind of, so like I was thinking like one of the problems I was running into is I noticed that I have two different types of shields in the game, and I wanted to represent, I wanted to be able to represent the situation of like if you pick up a new shield, if it's better than your old shield, you would choose to use the new shield. If it is not as good as the old shield, then you would just stick it in inventory. So then that kind of introduces the idea that there must be slots for like current shield, and then like, well, there's helmets in the game. Right now there's only one, but what if you have multiple hats? So it's like, well, current headgear, current cloak, current clothing, current armor, current shield, current boots. So now we got item slots, really. And then like a list of wearables, which are rings and amulets. So, and I'm not going to police like if you wear multiple amulets, or maybe I should. I don't know. The odds of actually finding any magic item in the game is actually pretty slim. So it takes a really long run through or a lot of luck to end up in a situation where you could have something. So a lot of this is prepping for like edge cases, and I always fall victim to doing this type of stuff. It's like a worry about the edge case that almost no one will ever run into, and then I don't get around to finishing the things I was supposed to finish. So that's definitely been the case. So we'll see here. Anyways, I think I'll put a little bit more time tomorrow on it. And maybe if it's at a point where... And the other problem was, like, I'd been away from the code for so long, I'd forgotten how to do a lot of stuff, so I had to reteach myself, like, some of how Twine works, how to handle different types of situations. And it was like, yeah, no one wants to watch me stream that, you know. Or maybe they do. I don't know. Okay, we've got lots of coffee, lots of other stuff. We're good. How are we doing for mending? Cooking. I mean, cooking teas would help, but not a lot. Okay, we are currently on day 30. Which means we have made it 3. Could drop some of these. Oh, I probably should have drunk the tea. Oh. Okay.
This pack is getting kind of heavy.
I don't think there's anything to read, is there? No. So yeah, so the main things I did, handle things in different item slots and sort those out. Better reporting of like what I'm currently wielding and what I'm currently wearing. And also reports the condition that your character is in. So, because I was noticing that was kind of a flaw or like a weakness right now in the game, is that if you do engage in combat, you don't know how injured you are until you're dead. You know that the opponent's landed some serious attacks on you and you've taken damage, but it doesn't like give you that update. I haven't decided if I want to represent your actual, um, keep track of your hit points in a more obvious way, or just like indicate that you are injured or weak in some way. Short, verbal description, but not necessarily a number. Then I'm also thinking about, do I want to have a character sheet available? But character sheets are much more complicated in Harlow Twine. It just, if I want to get very sophisticated, then it would not be the right move. But all I want to do is list my strength, dex, armor class, health. That would probably be enough. Spell points.
I wonder if I can drop any of this gear.
We want to move? I'm wondering if we should plan on moving.
I can barely walk with this much gear.
Hey, Roller. Good to see you. Yeah, we're on a little bit later tonight than usual, but Just wanted to stream for at least a little bit. I was saying earlier, pretty much to the empty stream, that I spent earlier today. I was working on my Twine game. Yeah, Into the Darkwood. I made some progress. Not as much on the story, and more of like behind the scenes sort of mechanics, trying to fix a few different things with how to handle situations where you find, like, I realized there are like 2 or 3 different shields in the game, and if you find a new shield, to evaluate whether it's better than the one you have, and if so, to swap it. Otherwise, you take the other shield, it just goes in your inventory. So yeah, that's mainly kind of what I ended up doing, is fixing that. Fixing also how I report back on your current health condition, because the combats are very opaque. You don't really know what your current situation is. Like if you're seriously injured, there was no feedback, and other than how successful the monster's attack was, you don't know how injured you are. So that means if you're making a choice between continuing your attack or running away, you don't have that information. So I have a temporary solution, I think, which is I'm just reporting your condition in a descriptive form, like healthy or wounded or very injured or near death or dying. But I'm debating if I want to have more specific information. Like, do I need to report your hit points and your armor class and your to hit and to damage? Or does it kind of does it break some of the immersion to have that? So I'm like debating like how much or to put it in I might just stick it in the footer as a link, and then it pops up with that information, so you can look at your stats. And I think maybe that's what I'll do. I'll either do that, or I'll enable the sidebar, and then I could report things in the sidebar. But I do kind of want to focus the game on the narrative and less on numbers. So maybe, I don't know. I'll have a few different versions that I'll play test and see which I like better. So anyways, I'm going to spend a little bit more time tomorrow on that as well. And then I have also been making a list of like which parts of the story I need to finish up. I actually printed out a new map of the game, like a map out of all the different locations in the game, and it's got the flow chart between them all. And I'm going to be playing through and just marking off which locations I'm done and which ones are incomplete, so that I can make progress in that. So I think once I've done that work, once I've done a couple more small tweaks tomorrow morning, I think I might be able to do a playtest run to see like where it's going, what it looks like right now. Like if I decide to implement like a link so you can look at your stats, or if I want to include that as a sidebar. So I haven't decided which one. I just don't like, often I find like too much numeric information is a distraction. So I don't want like everything so bulky in terms of the interface. But I could be wrong. Maybe there's a nice simple way of doing it that would not be a distraction. So I'll try a few different ideas tomorrow. Okay, maybe we'll wait until tomorrow morning to eat that. How was your weekend, Roller? What were you up to? Well, I can see I need to update some of these some of these timer things because they're outdated. I don't have to worry about that anymore. Rough Thursday. Well, yeah, I hope things are looking better the rest of the weekend. Sometimes I get blindsided by things in life. My players in my Thursday night D&D campaign also had a rough Thursday, but they survived, but it was looking really close to a TPK at one point.
I'm not sure I can carry much more.
It's still early. It's not quite day 31 yet. Let's see, do we have everything? Did we pick up the bedroll? Yes, we picked up the bedroll. Okay, good stuff. Yeah, they had. They were in a. They were in an abandoned dwarven mine. I swear I was not stealing from Lord of the Rings in the Mines Moria, but there was indeed a place in the mine where they'd been digging the miners had dug a large pit excavation, and then the pit collapsed into a chamber far below, and that's one of the reasons why the mine was abandoned. But the party was looking for a particular amulet that had been in the possession of someone, a supervisor or a cleric, someone in charge of a leader in the mine, for access to a number of rooms that were magically locked, that needed this amulet to open them up. And so they decided they were going to explore, go down into that shaft. It's 150 feet down, so they have to tie 3 ropes together to get all the way down. And once they get down to the very bottom, they find this big mound of rubble and lots of bones. And as they all settle onto the ground at the bottom of the mine shaft, the bones suddenly start to knit together and join until they become a massive skeletal juggernaut. It's kind of Voltron for bones. And suddenly they're fighting this massive skeletal creature, undead creature, that has 10-foot reach and we'll duck in here. 10-foot reach and deals out massive amounts of damage when it hits. I think it's 2d8 for each strike, and it strikes twice. And has a really high to hit, and was really meant for the party when they were supposed to be level 4, but they are level 3. So it was a very, very hard encounter. At least 2 different characters were down at one point, and they really had to escape, and they ended up climbing back up the rope and taking pot shots at the skeletal juggernaut from above. And then finally they like started to think about other strategies. Like they realized, it took them a while to realize that it was vulnerable to bludgeoning damage. But of course, no one in the party was carrying a bludgeoning weapon or had access to spells that produce bludgeoning effects until one of them kind of looked up at the ceiling and saw that there were stalactites way, way up above, like 180 feet up, like 30 feet above the tunnel entrance. And so they had to climb part of the way up the rope in order to be in range of either shooting or casting a spell to try to break the stalactite. And so it took them multiple tries to dish out enough damage, and finally the thing falls and it comes like smashing down below just as the last person at the bottom gets onto the rope. Just barely works out timing-wise. And this big stalactite comes down, dishes out a ton of damage, but still does not finish destroying the Juggernaut. And so they then try everything else that they have, all their last-ditch spells, anything they can think of to try to dish damage, to avoid it trying to pull down the rope that they're on. And so, one of them crits. And they end up doing just enough damage to destroy it. And then they watch as the whole skeletal, creature collapses. And then a round later, reassembles into 12 individual common skeletons. But they don't know that. They're just watching from above, as they're climbing out. They look back down and they see 12 individual skeletons emerge out of the debris and start milling around. And they don't know how powerful those are. So they're like, ah! But they still haven't found the amulet. So they're going to have to go back down. But the whole thing was they went down understaffed. They had one less person than they were supposed to have. The paladin was unable to make it that night. So they went with a cleric and they went with a couple other people, none of whom should have really been in close. Bard and, let's see, they went with a bard, a cleric, and is it a monk? I can't remember. It was looking really. It wasn't the monk. The monk would have done damage. Oh, I think it was maybe a ranger. Might have been a ranger. Someone who just takes shots with the bow. It's not really your ideal scenario for dealing with wolves. I mean, dealing with skeletons. Now we're going to deal with wolves, but yeah. Anyways, they managed to get out. Next week they will have their paladin back. They will also have leveled up. That is definitely, we should come back later. They still haven't found the thing that created the skeletal juggernaut, so they know that there's some sort of necromantic power down there, so something is haunting the lower reaches. We're not at 31 yet. Where are you, buddy? Where are you? Oh, you're over there. Yeah. Let's see what you're up to here. So, anyways, I think it went well. The players actually enjoyed it quite a bit. And it was really funny because I kept rolling super high. Almost every single turn, I rolled 15 and up on the die, not just for attacks, but also for saves. So it was working out that, the monster was practically invulnerable. Just could not be dealt with. And yeah, it was pretty entertaining. And they kept rolling. They kept on fumbling everything, even like easy things. They fumbled. It was so bad. They had. It was great for storytelling, right? Just like. You know, we probably should have grabbed a little bit more water. There we go. How are we doing, folks? We're officially on day 31. Zone of contamination, birch bark. I don't spend a lot of time there. I think there might be 1 or 2 pockets where you could find it, but it's not common. Not that I can recall. "7 days in the airfield." Okay.
This pack is getting too heavy to carry.
I don't like how windy it is. But we're getting out of here. I think we're too heavy now. Yeah. Be fine once we ditch a couple torches here. Uh-oh. Okay, it's time to roll. We're back in Coastal Highway. How long are we going to be here? Roll a d10. 6. Okay. 0 of 6 in Coastal Highway. Yep. Hmm.
I'm not sure I can carry much more.
Not really fond of this weather here. Should we try to warm up a little bit?
Come on, little fire.
Either wind is going to...
Perfect.
And it looks like it's blizzard time. Yeah, at least it's not glimmer fog. Well, guess we don't have to worry about the bear. Oh, you found birch bark. Okay. Whew.
I can't feel my feet. It's making my head feel thick.
So yeah, I'll do some work tomorrow morning. Maybe in the afternoon I'll get a chance to do a short,
Barely
like,
got this much gear.
demo stream of where I'm at with this. And then we'll probably still do a Sunday night stream. No stream Monday. I'm meeting with a writing coaching client again.
Starting to feel numb. Oh, so cold.
So yeah, I've been following the discussions on Reddit about the new episode, and yeah, I'm not in such a rush. I think I'll just wait for more of those bug fixes to come through. I still want to play it. I'm just not in a rush. So. A lot of complaints are about how linear both the regions and the story are in this final episode, but I kind of feel like you gotta just accept the fact that if you need to wrap up the story, it can't just branch on forever. It's going to have to converge in some sort of ending. If one thing I learned from doing interactive fiction is the more opportunities to choose you introduce, the more complicated it is to create a resolution. And they want to wrap up the story, so they're not going to create a ton of extra side plots and secondary and tertiary things to do. They want to wrap it up. Yeah. And I've heard there's some complaints too about like some of the choices in how the story wraps up, the resolution for the story, or the, in some ways, lack of resolution of the story, which I'll have to wait and see
Carry this load.
if I agree. Or if I think, I've heard mixed reviews on how well they stick the landing on this. But I'm willing to give it a benefit of the doubt. They can still make pancakes now. Okay, so I've got all these cured things here. Okay. $15 birch saplings. It's a real shame we have no knife. $6 maple. It's like a factory in here. Yeah. I don't know. I've avoided like watching extensive content around the ending. I've kind of skimmed through some discussion around what people liked or didn't like about some of the unexpected points, and but not so much that I've spoiled the thing for myself. I just wanted a general sense of did people feel like there was resolution or not. So yeah.
It's so cold. I just want to lay down for a
But yeah, welcome in, Bumblebee. Yeah, let's see here. Shout out Bumblebee. Also playing Long Dark. Okay, we're in here because we want cloth, because we got lots of stuff to repair. Okay, so stuff we should repair. This is kind of critical. Yeah, what's next on the list? And we need more cloth.
I wonder if I
Okay.
can drop any of this gear.
Do. There, mending 3. Yeah.
Come on, little fire.
Okay, let's put the hand down. We're making pancakes. Hello, making pancakes. Probably should make more tea.
I've never been so hungry in my life.
Goodbye, Skimmer. Okay. Six. That's just rough. I think I once failed 3 fires in a row when I had 95% chance of success. I was like, seven. Oh no, it's starting to sound critical. This is why I often carry a book around with me at the beginning. You know, just a couple books that I can set on fire. So much easier to start fires with books. Okay. $31, almost $32. $288. 6. Yeah, I can't say I'm a big fan of zone of contamination either. Okay.
right now.
Yeah, we need to eat something.
I'm not sure I can carry much more.
Oh, there it is.
This'll come in handy.
Lurk nap. Ooh, moose. Moose. We're not going to fight the moose. Okay, we can try raiding the fishing huts. Big wind right now. It's not good.
My fingers feel numb.
So we still have lots and lots of crackers, so we're not out of it yet.
Hope nobody needs this anymore.
Okay, let's make a fire.
One little fire.
I think we'll go for maybe another 20 minutes or so. We'll see. We can still take a nap in here. still looks pretty bad.
I'm gonna need to eat soon.
Okay, wind seems to have died down. We're safe to travel again. Welcome in, lurkers. I'm Babaginator. We are streaming Long Dark. As you can tell, we are not doing the story right now. We are in the middle of a challenge, which I call Roll With It, which, if we throw in... I have had those. I have definitely had those moments. Happens to me, a lot of places, honestly. And especially if there's a blizzard raging. But sometimes I can turn myself into a complete circle, even without the blizzard. I've had that happen in Mystery Lake a few times. I've had that definitely happen in Forlorn Muskeg. Yeah. Ooh, thank you for the hydrate, EG. Cheers to you. Big stretch and a big baba. There we go. Just what you were looking for. That's the content. Check inside, see if there's anything left behind. Yep, we already got that. Book. Yeah. Nothing. You know where you are now. That's good. It's where you started. Oh, okay. Yeah.
can drop any of this gear.
So we're headed out this direction, partly to Beachcomb and partly to go grab some cattails from the river. Wow. Ooh. And back to bad news.
Did I say I hate being cold? Because I really do. I'm gonna need to eat soon.
Yeah, we may have to do... Wind doesn't die down, we may have to go and need a cracker box.
Can you eat trees? Because I'm gonna.
Okay. I don't really like this.
I could eat anything.
Yeah, I don't like this. Too foggy. Should we camp in here and wait?
I could eat anything right now.
Hmm.
I can carry much more.
Oh, candy bar. Okay.
Man, this pack is getting kind of heavy.
Oh, so I think what we'll do is we'll leave re-enter save, and then we'll figure out plan for next time. 42. Okay, officially saved. I think we will pick this up tomorrow. Before we go, we'll read a poem. Let's see what we want to read tonight. Recursion. Okay, so this comes from the second book of poetry from Babbage's Dream, published by Sundress Publication in 2017. This is called Return. No, is it? What was it? Recursion. That's where we're at. Okay. Recursion. So this is from a series of poems taken with inspiration from the history of computers, life of Charles Babbage, as well as modern programming languages and programming spaces. And this is called Recursion, and, well, hopefully it explains itself. Test for the empty case. If we reach some sort of end, a lark split wide, its wings a shattered song, the last box within a box, and what it reveals, that we love what we cannot hold, what we cannot return, yet try nonetheless. Here some portion of ourselves remains, loose hair caught between keys, months, years, the glint of glass, the reflection of an eye trapped in the monitor's haze, or simply space, a chair abandoned finally to the void. Loop until done. Else we will work on, are cut adrift from the city, from empty rooms and empty beds. All night the moon looms, let me try it again. Else we will work on, cut adrift from the city, from empty rooms and empty beds. All night the moon looms, a great white zero in the dark, while we watch the freeways empty their nets, the last flickering cars struggling home. From between the slats of our window's view, the night watchman stands atop the parking tower, on break, setting his lips to a trumpet as if to blow the walls down, or to call us back from the grave. Perhaps to tell us something remarkable about the world we've forgotten. Each long note hanging like an iron rung in the sky, a ladder ascending out of the nothingness of work, while we shrink further and further into the distance, like fireflies at the end. Flare, then silence. Flare, then dark. All night we pray for arms, for fire, for light. Okay, so recursion is in reference to a particular mathematical concept, which then translates into programming. It was a type of certain functions could be written recursively, that is to say that they were functions written in which they could be evaluated by calling themselves. It's kind of an odd idea, but basically, commonly we would do this as an exercise and, in learning computer programming. And we would do something like an exponent function or a power function where you would pass it the base and the power. And so, you had a power function and you pass in, let's say, 2 and a 3. 2 is the base, 3 is the power. And it would, and a power function would be defined as like, this power is equal to the base times the power of 1 of the base and 1 less than the exponent. And so basically it's just like you would call itself, but with a reduced version of it, of like one of the variables. And then it would keep proceeding through. And it would always test, is that final count equal to 0? When it's equal to 0, return a 1. Otherwise, return, the evaluation of this thing. So recursive functions are things that call themselves until they finally hit a 0 case or a 1 case, something that they can't be reduced any further, and then they just return themselves. So I kind of apply that to the case of programmers who are constantly in this mode of burning themselves till they're almost nothing. And so we just keep going on and on and on with a little bit less of ourselves each day until at last there's nothing. And then we just kind of return into the world. So there's that. The image here of the night watchman atop the parking tower playing the trumpet, that actually was inspired by something I actually saw when I was working in Los Angeles. And I looked out the window, and it was lunchtime. It wasn't the end of the day. It was lunchtime. And there was one of the parking attendants on top of the tower playing trumpet. I thought it was the most interesting, unexpected moment. And later, when I was writing this poem, it just kind of felt like the thing that needed to go in. Sort of that unexpected, almost apocalyptic vision of someone calling, whether you're thinking of like the walls of Jericho coming down, or you're thinking of, the angelic trumpeters in John's Revelation that call at the breaking of the seals at the end of the world. So you've got both kind of evoked in the poem. Anyways, so a little behind the scenes for that one. We are going to pack up here and head on out. Thank you all for hanging out with me. It's been fun. I hope it's been fun for you. Hopefully it's been relaxing as well. We are not dead. We're on day 32, and we've got 5 more days to spend here, which will probably be another 2 streams. We'll see. Let's go and find someone to raid. And then perhaps tomorrow I'll be back earlier with the stream. We'll see how far I get with the testing and the little changes I want to make in the Into the Dark interactive fiction game. But if I can make some progress on that, I might be able to do a little mini stream and show what I've been doing with that. And then later on, we will go ahead and have a stream in the evening. So let's see. Affy Blackheart. Yeah, let's drop in on Affy. Okay. Hopeless Rescue Challenge. Okay, a little something else. A little something different. Okay, we'll be back tomorrow. See you on the other side of the raid.